Hello everyone, and welcome to the most hardcore RPG you will ever play in your life. This is Flashfire, a mini-series for Blazekick, and I'm Tyler.
I'm Armando.
And I'll be playing the game today. So Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition is the PC port to the Dark Souls games that came out on Xbox 360 and PS3 a couple years ago. And the sequel, Dark Souls 2, is coming out in 2 months.
March 13th, I believe.
March 11th, I believe, actually.
11th? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
you got it wrong.
Because it's the same day as Bravely Default's release, but it's not the same month. But yeah, Dark Souls is a hardcore action RPG, and I might as well explain my story once we start building our character to start over from scratch, since we failed this recording already. I actually went onto the subreddit of Dark Souls, and I found out that there is a subreddit that has been going on for about 9 months of people talking about what made that part in their mind click that they actually loved this game. And I loved reading all the stories because everybody has their own story where they're like, I fell in love with the game after I got past this part and this part. So it's like everybody kind of has that point in the game where they click, but I don't know where this game clicked to me, honestly. I really can't tell you the answer to that. I'm gonna put on Tiny Being's ring. Physique. I guess a slim physique should be fine. Let's just do what we did last time.
Like 2010, probably?
Dark Souls?
Yeah.
Dark Souls came out in 2012, I think.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, Dark Souls came out in 2012. Demon Souls came out in 2010, I think. 2009 or 2010. Okay, that should do it. We shouldn't really over customize our character because they're gonna die a shit ton. All right. Says, let's see here. One can only hope that I'm actually recording this time, even though I just triple checked the folder.
Let's hope so.
Alright, so on to the introduction that, sadly, I can't reduce the volume of in the audio settings since the video has different audio settings to the game. So we're just gonna talk over the audio semi-loud and hope to God that you can hear us.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog.
So, a bit of a story behind Blazekick's history with Dark Souls. So far, I'm the only one that's actually played it.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I saw it for the first time when we recorded the first time.
Yeah.
We tried. That was the first time I saw the game. So.
Yeah. For a short while, Demon Souls was free on PSN for PS Plus members, and I downloaded it then. And the controls for console are really solid and everything, but for some reason I just couldn't get into Demon Souls. But Dark Souls came on sale during the winter sale.
The
holiday sale, I mean. And
the souls of lords
on Steam.
Yeah, for like $6. So I bought it then. And
the first of the day.
When I wrote my editorial on it, I was actually kind of bitter. Because at that point I had struggled with the Undead Parish for like 4 or 5 hours. So I just wanted to write an editorial on the fact that Dark Souls is really difficult, and it shouldn't be taken lightly at all. Like, I knew what I was expecting.
So easily forgotten.
I knew what I was expecting when I played Dark Souls, because it was like, I know that it's an incredibly hard game. I just didn't know it would be this incredibly hard.
They challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty gods peeled apart their stone skills.
By the way, I wish the graphics were as good as the opening cutscene, but they aren't. The volume only gets louder, by the way.
And seeth the scales betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more.
Jeez. I'm usually not one to talk over. I'm not usually one to talk over introductory cutscenes or anything, but
Thus began
Dark Souls is kind of one of those stories where you can learn just as much about the lore of Dark Souls just by reading subtitles and talking to people in the game. This is only a cutscene that abridges, bridges together the story between Demon Souls and Dark Souls in a way. Because I think Demon Souls, I don't know exactly if it was like this because I only played like 4 or 5 hours of it, but Demon Souls setting is far different than Dark Souls. Dark Souls is a lot different in terms of like story. Because I can't even remember what Demon Souls' story was about, but it's just it's a bit crazy. And I forgot to turn on the stopwatch. Oh well, I'll just start it the moment that game starts, so at least no. I have a timer on OBS. So we should be fine.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead.
So pretty much what the opening cutscene and this cutscene explains to you is the only reason your character exists is because you have been branded by something called the dark sign, which grants eternal life at the expense of losing your humanity. So you cannot die.
Where they are locked away to await the end of the world.
So pretty much the basis of the story is you are what they call undead. You are not completely hollow.
This is your fate.
However, you were corralled to this asylum to await when the embers of the torches in the underworld go out and the end of the world begins. Thank you for body. Later. Look, lights! It's magic! Okay. So, welcome to Dark Souls.
That was a long cutscene.
Yeah, it's a 5-minute cutscene. But it's not like... I've seen longer cutscenes, honestly. I think...
Oh, yeah.
I think Metal Gear Solid 3 probably takes the cake. With opening cutscenes.
How long is it? I
think it really depends on if you watch like the opening cutscene from when like the 60s James Bond intro takes place, which is I'd have to say maybe 8 to 10 minutes, including when you can actually voluntarily change perspectives to see a point on it. It's probably a good 10 to 12 minutes where you can do 30 seconds of action and then 10 minutes and then like 3 minutes more of exposition. So I'd say that the opening part of the game, about 40 minutes, is like the opening cutscene to the entire game. Tied with this, I think, is I don't really know what other... The thing is like the intro cutscene for this game is about the same length as when you climb up a super long ladder in Metal Gear Solid 3. Like there's a ladder that you have to climb in Metal Gear Solid 3 that's so large that when you're like about a quarter of the way up the ladder, just a song starts playing to divide your boredom, to disperse your boredom. I mean, because it's just so long to climb that ladder. It's crazy. It's a nice aesthetic touch though. It kind of adds that like you are not God. You cannot climb ladders in 2 seconds. So I'm just gonna run immediately into the cell. Oop. Because we do not want to deal with the Asylum demon just yet. light this bonfire here. Oh yeah, and I'm not going to explain controls in this because the last time I did that it took like 3 minutes to explain. And I do have a lot of mods installed onto... Whoop, gotta wait for that guy to... Whoop. I do have a lot of mods installed, but they're all just aesthetic. None of them alter the game's... Like, none of them alter the gameplay at all. And the only one that actually does a similar thing is just a UI change that edits the HUD to be more precise in a way. Right, let's just run ahead and scare off this guy with the bow and arrow. To be fair, taking a second take of this game does kind of feel like we're playing Dark Souls. Because we just have to deal with the same shit again.
Well, I don't know about that because I haven't played it. I'm just here,
Yeah.
like, just watching you play, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain how this game feels and everything. I've explained to a couple of people before that I kind of more easily got into this game because of Monster Hunter. Because it kind of just feels the same. It kind of feels the same way Monster Hunter does to me. It kind of has that semi-realistic manner to it. But this tackles you with realism.
Yeah, like when the character moves, it reminds me sort of Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Dodging works in a similar way to Monster Hunter in this too.
Yeah, so I would imagine that it controls similar to
It
Monster
doesn't
Hunter.
it doesn't control similar in a way that you'd imagine. It controls a lot differently than most games I've ever played. But in this sense, it's crazy how similar they are in terms of how you level your survival in this. Because in this and Monster Hunter, there are going to be points where you're like, oh, I'm going to die, and then you run away and you're able to survive just a little bit longer. And then there's a point where you think you can survive, and you just get completely annihilated. So, that's Monster Hunter in a nutshell. In terms of Dark Souls as well. Alright, so Estus Flasks are pretty much your main healing item in this game. They heal a set amount of money, or heal a set amount of health, and they automatically regenerate at bonfires. And there are other ways for them to automatically regenerate as well, but I don't know how. They have weird ways of doing it, though. Oh yeah, and at points in this game, you can die pretty quickly. Like, they kind of give you, they kind of take it easy on you in the first section of the game, which is the Undead Asylum, but later down the line, it's just gonna be they don't care. It's like the section of the game where I'm at called Demon's Ruins, or just Demon Ruins. I think it's called Demon Ruins. There's a section of that game where bosses that you dealt with earlier are now just normal enemies. And we'll see a couple of those enemies. In fact, yeah, one of the enemies that we've seen already in the first take is actually a minor enemy that that you have to deal with later down the line. So it's like, oh, hey, look, you're this much stronger now, and in reality, you're like probably twice as weak, because now you have to deal with like 7 of them at once. So I don't really want to explain all of my mods that I've installed for this, but they're all just aesthetic. I'm just going to repeat that again. They're all just aesthetic. I'll put them all in the description, though. I got to give credit where credit is due, because these mods honestly make the experience a lot better. Jesus. No, Ern! Ern, what are you doing? Oh. Another thing to note is, if you stand on that balcony for too long, the Asylum demon will knock the balcony down and instant kill you. Like, this game has an unfair amount of instant kill. It's just instant kill moments. Ugh, okay. Thankfully, the Asylum demon isn't too difficult when you're used to him. Gotta love them jiggle physics, though, on his, like, 7-pack stomach. There we go. You defeated your foe, and you shall now gain power beyond human imagination. Yep. One of the mods I installed was to change the splashes for when you do stuff from just normal Dark Souls splashes to Demon Souls styled text to Demon Souls styled messages. They kind of give it more of a flair and more of a kind of importance. Because in normal Dark Souls, it's like when you die, it's like you died, and that's it. But in this, it's like you died. The dark sign brands you, and you are reborn again, undead. So I mean, it adds a bit more kind of a feel to it.
In the ancient legends, it is stated one day an undead shall return.
Oh yeah, and this game is very heavy on symbolism. I'm just gonna note that right away. This game is very heavy with symbolism. So before we get to like the incredibly disturbing stuff, I'm just gonna note right now this game is rated M for blood, gore, intense violence, a bit of language, and the big one, the very big one, violence and graphic imagery, I should say. I'm used to saying imagery, but you know. That should be enough to at least explain to people. You can watch this, but don't come crying to us when it's like, oh my god, there's a bunch of Satan.
A bunch of what?
There's a bunch of Satan. I can't believe I just said that. There's so much Satan. Alright, so in the bottom right of the screen, that's your collected souls. Souls in this game are your currency and experience points. So I'm going to have to spend very careful. I'm gonna have to keep very careful attention on the amount of souls I use to level up, based off of how much souls I need to buy stuff that I might need later. Okay, I'm gonna level up my strength, dexterity, and well, let's go for vitality for now. Okay. And this is a level 1 bonfire, so we have 10 Estus flasks to work with. Now, we're supposed to go up there first, but we're going to tackle a few places in this area to get a few bonus items. Because there are some extra items that we can get, including a gesture, which doesn't really sound important, but it is kind of important, because gestures can be used for various things. I think it's actually used for context, to like improve relationships between various people. So I'm just going to skip some dialogue here and there. That's not really important. Okay, we get a copper coin from him, and then let's see here. He's going to try to get us into the Covenant Way of Light. This guy will let you buy spells, which if you're a sorcerer or a cleric, I think these are mostly cleric spells, but you can use them as a sorcerer. They're both technically the same, it's just that the cleric starts off with a healing spell instead of an attack spell. But I'm playing as a knight, and I might actually spend some experience points into getting some extra faith to allow us to use the talisman for magic spells. Homeward Bones, those are always good. Morning Stars and Talismans, and a roll, because why not? My room smells like onions for some reason. What the hell? It sounds really weird out of context, but my room suddenly started smelling like onions. Sweet onions. I'm not crying or anything. Sweet onions. Oh wow, it smells like... what the hell? It really does. Like, I don't know why it suddenly smells like that. Okay. So
Okay,
there are a bunch
time.
of... yeah, there are a bunch of killer skeletons here. They do a lot of damage, and they can give you the bleed effect. which is a short-lasting effect, but when that effect is given, it drains your health pretty quickly as well. So it's actually not a good thing to have. A worse effect would be poison, or toxic. Toxic is way worse than poison, honestly. And then you have curse, which is like 20,000 times worse. Alright, I'm actually going to go to the bonfire and reset their spawn. Because when you go to a bonfire, enemies automatically revive. Oh wait, I don't want to read. Here, I'm just going to reset their spawn real quick. Set at the bonfire, damn it. Am I not allowed to respawn because there's an enemy here? What? Oh, this is gonna bite the big one. Hold on. I think I can divert them to somewhere where they can die from fall damage. Or I can just wait until they go away. That sounds like a better idea. There are two paths. You can go up or down, and this place will take you to the new Londo ruins, which is crazy hard. Like, much harder than you'll experience by going up. So beginners want to go up first. Because going up is, like, the best place for you to get starter equipment. Damn it, why can't I sit at the bonfire? I don't understand. You know what? Ugh. Come on, just go away so I can sit. I've never experienced this before, honestly. Let's just dispatch these guys. People have already clicked off of the video. Oh god! Okay, I just got reposted in the face. Don't worry, I'm okay. No, I'm not okay.
Oh, there you go. Dead.
You died. Yep. Get ready to see that a lot. Well, thankfully, all my souls are right next to where I died. Or right next to the bonfire. Oh, now I can sit at it. Perfect. It was because there were enemies nearby. Alright, well, that was a waste of time for everyone.